Have you ever noticed how the first 5 minutes of your morning dictate the energy of your entire day? Most people sleepwalk through life, beginning each day in a reactive state, reaching for their phones, absorbing negative news, and immediately plunging into stress hormones before their feet even touch the floor. But what if I told you that just 5 minutes, 300 sacred seconds, could completely transform your energetic frequency and create an impenetrable shield around your consciousness that lasts all day? The ritual I'm about to share isn't just another wellness trend. It's an ancient practice recalibrated for our modern world that works at the quantum level of your being. The truth about transformation isn't found in grand gestures or complete life overhauls. It exists in the micro moments, those seemingly insignificant decisions we make in the liminal space between sleep and wakefulness. Science has proven that your brain operates in a theta wave state during those first moments of consciousness, making it incredibly receptive to programming. This is why the world's most successful people guard their mornings with fierce protection. They understand that this time holds alchemical potential for rewiring neurological pathways and shifting energy patterns that have been stuck for years or even decades. I discovered this ritual during my darkest period, a time when anxiety ruled my days and insomnia haunted my nights. My energy was constantly depleted, my relationships suffered, and my potential remained buried under layers of fear and limitation. Like you perhaps, I had tried everything. Meditation apps, expensive supplements, self-help books that collected dust after the first chapter. Nothing seemed to create lasting change. That's because most approaches fail to address the energetic blueprint that's established in those critical first moments of consciousness. They focus on symptoms rather than the foundational frequency that determines how you'll receive and transmit energy throughout your day. What makes this 5-minute ritual different, revolutionary even, is that it works with your body's natural energetic systems rather than forcing new habits through willpower alone. It harmonizes your physical movements, breath patterns, and conscious intentions in a synchronized dance that activates what ancient traditions called the morning meridian, a special energetic channel that, when opened correctly, allows universal life force to flow unobstructed through your entire being. By the end of this chapter, you'll understand why your morning ritual isn't just a nice self-care practice. It's the most important determining factor in your energetic evolution and consequently, in every experience that follows. When was the last time you felt truly vibrant, alive with purpose, creativity, and unwavering clarity? For most people, genuine energetic abundance has become so rare that they've forgotten what it feels like. Instead, they've normalized a state of functional depletion, mistaking caffeine dependency and stress-fueled productivity for actual vitality. This isn't just fatigue we're discussing. It's an energetic bankruptcy that has reached epidemic proportions in our society. The symptoms are everywhere. The afternoon crashes, the weekend recovery periods, the constant sense that you're operating at 60% of your potential while something essential remains dormant within you. This energy crisis begins the moment you open your eyes each morning. The average person initiates their day with practices that actively drain their life force, absorbing electromagnetic radiation from devices, consuming negative information that triggers stress responses, and immediately focusing on obligations rather than intentions. Each of these seemingly innocent habits creates energetic leaks in your system, forcing your body to operate in a protective, sympathetic nervous system state rather than a regenerative, parasympathetic state. By mid-morning, most people have unconsciously surrendered their natural vitality and replaced it with a manufactured counterfeit, one that will inevitably crash and require constant replenishment throughout the day. What's truly alarming is how this chronic energy depletion affects every aspect of your existence. When your vibrational frequency is lowered, you become a magnet for lower frequency experiences, conflicts that could have been avoided, opportunities that remain unseen, creative solutions that never emerge. Your relationships suffer because true connection requires energetic abundance. Your decision-making becomes fear-based rather than possibility-driven. And perhaps most significantly, your access to intuitive guidance, that internal compass, that connects you to your highest path, becomes nearly impossible to detect beneath the static of depleted energy. The conventional solutions to this problem are themselves part of the problem. Energy drinks, social media breaks, and even most meditation practices fail to address the root cause, the initial energetic patterning that happens in those first conscious moments. This is why the 5-minute ritual I'm sharing creates such dramatic transformations. It doesn't just manage symptoms. It fundamentally alters the way your entire energetic system initializes each day. Like rebooting a computer with a clean operating system rather than constantly adding programs to fix a corrupted one. This ritual clears the energetic slate and establishes a new vibrational foundation from which everything else can flow naturally and abundantly. The power of this 5-minute morning ritual isn't based solely on ancient wisdom or spiritual concepts, although these traditions recognized its importance centuries before modern science caught up. Today's research in fields ranging from chronobiology to quantum physics provides compelling evidence for why these specific practices, performed during this particular window of time, create such profound energetic shifts. When you understand the science, you'll see that this isn't about belief or faith. It's about aligning your actions with the natural laws that govern human consciousness and energy. Neuroscience has documented that your brain produces different wavelengths throughout the day, with alpha and theta waves being most prominent during the transition from sleep to wakefulness. These brainwave states are the same ones achieved by advanced meditators after years of practice, yet they're naturally available to you each morning. During this state, the critical barrier between your conscious and subconscious mind becomes temporarily permeable, creating what scientists call high suggestibility. This explains why the thoughts, movements, and breath patterns you engage in during those first 5 minutes have approximately 100 times more impact on your neurological programming than activities performed later in the day. Studies using EEG monitoring have shown that subjects who engage in intentional practices during this window demonstrate significantly increased coherence between brain hemispheres that persists for up to 16 hours afterward. On a physiological level, your body's entire hormonal orchestra takes its cues from how you start your day. The cortisol awakening response, CAR, a natural spike in this stress hormone, occurs within 30-45 minutes of waking. While cortisol often gets a bad reputation, this particular morning surge is essential for energy regulation when channeled properly. The physical movements and breathing patterns in this ritual have been shown to optimize this cortisol response, while simultaneously triggering the release of serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins, your body's natural feel-good chemicals. This creates what researchers call neurochemical momentum that propels you through the day with elevated mood and sustained energy rather than the peaks and valleys most people experience. Perhaps most fascinating is the research on biofield science and heart coherence. The HeartMath Institute has documented that the heart generates an electromagnetic field 60 times greater in amplitude than brain activity, extending several feet from your body in all directions. This field literally broadcasts your energetic signature into the environment and affects how others perceive and respond to you. The meditative breathing component of this ritual has been shown to create heart rhythm coherence, a harmonious pattern that optimizes this electromagnetic broadcasting system. When measured with specialized equipment, subjects demonstrate a 200 to 300% increase in field strength and coherence after performing similar morning practices for just 5 minutes. What does all this science mean for you? Simply put, when you implement this ritual, you're not just adopting a nice habit or practicing self-care. You're strategically intervening at the most neurologically receptive moment of your day to reconfigure your entire energetic operating system. You're establishing patterns that will automatically cascade through your physical, emotional, and mental systems, creating a foundation of coherence and vitality that becomes your new baseline rather than a temporary state you have to constantly work to maintain. The ritual begins before your eyes even open. As consciousness first stirs, resist the programmed impulse to reach for your phone or immediately jump out of bed. Instead, remain still and bring your awareness to the simple fact that you are awake, alive, and blessed with another day of existence. This intentional pause, this sacred threshold between sleep and activity, is where the transformation begins. Place one hand on your heart and the other on your lower abdomen, creating a physical circuit that connects these two energy centers. Take 3 long conscious breaths, feeling the gentle rise and fall beneath your palms. With each exhale, silently repeat the phrase, "I choose my energy today." This isn't just a positive affirmation. It's a declaration of energetic sovereignty that immediately disrupts the unconscious patterns most people fall into. To immediately implement this transformational ritual, write in the comments, "I am ready to transform my energy," and subscribe to the channel to receive the complimentary guide with the 7 energy accelerators that will boost your results. Your new life begins with these 5 minutes. This initial minute activates what neuroscientists call the prefrontal cortex override, engaging the executive function of your brain before the limbic system, responsible for automated behaviors and stress responses, takes control. By consciously directing your first thoughts rather than allowing them to arise randomly, you're establishing neural dominance in brain regions associated with choice, intention, and elevated emotional states. The physical touch on your heart and abdomen simultaneously activates the vagus nerve, the primary channel of your parasympathetic nervous system, sending signals throughout your body that it's safe to remain in a receptive rather than reactive state. This vagal stimulation has been shown to immediately reduce inflammation, improve immune function, and optimize digestive processes before you've even started your day. Most people underestimate the power of this first minute because it seems too simple. But simplicity is precisely what makes it effective. By keeping the practice accessible rather than complex, you remove barriers to consistency, and consistency is where the true magic happens. When practiced daily, this conscious awakening literally reshapes the neural architecture of your brain through a process called experience-dependent neuroplasticity. New neural pathways form and strengthen, making this elevated state increasingly your default mode rather than an effort. Participants in my Energy Mastery program report that after just 21 days, this conscious awakening begins to happen automatically. Their systems actually resist falling back into old patterns of unconscious morning stress. What's happening on an energetic level during this first minute is equally significant. Ancient traditions recognize that during sleep, your energy body, sometimes called the subtle body or aura, expands beyond its daytime boundaries. The Ixtio moment of awakening is when this expanded field begins to reintegrate with your physical form. Most people unconsciously contract this field through stress or scattered attention, immediately diminishing their energetic capacity. This ritual instead maintains the expanded state, allowing you to carry this amplified field into your day. You're literally operating with more energetic bandwidth, like upgrading from a narrow straw to a wide channel through which life force can flow abundantly rather than in restricted measures. This expanded capacity becomes the foundation upon which the next 4 minutes will build. With your conscious awareness established, it's time to activate your body's natural energy generation systems through specific breathing patterns that ancient yogis called prana pumps. Sit up in bed with your spine straight, but not rigid. Place your hands palm up on your knees and bring your awareness to the base of your spine. Now begin a breathing pattern of inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 2 counts, and exhaling for 6 counts. With each breath cycle, visualize golden light entering through the crown of your head, flowing down your spine, and pooling at its base, creating what Eastern traditions call the morning reservoir. This reservoir becomes the stored energy that you'll draw from throughout your day, particularly during challenging moments when others would normally deplete their reserves. This breathing technique works on multiple physiological levels simultaneously. First, the extended exhale activates the parasympathetic nervous system, countering the natural sympathetic dominance that occurs upon waking. This immediately balances your autonomic functions and prevents the unconscious anxiety that plagues most people's mornings. Second, The specific ratio of inhalation to exhalation optimizes oxygen and carbon dioxide balance in your bloodstream, creating what respiratory scientists call the respiratory alkaline tide, a slight alkalizing of your blood that promotes cellular energy production and mental clarity. Third, the brief retention between breaths increases nitric oxide production in your nasal passages, which then circulates throughout your body, improving vascular function and enhancing the delivery of oxygen to all tissues. On a more subtle level, this breathing pattern activates what Eastern traditions call the nadis, or energy channels that run throughout your subtle body. The primary channel, sushumna, runs along your spine and serves as the main conduit for life force energy. The visualization component isn't just a mental exercise, it's actually directing this energy through intention. Quantum physics has begun to validate what ancient systems always knew: consciousness affects energy flow. Studies in the field of psychoneuroimmunology have shown that directed visualization combined with specific breathing patterns can increase immunoglobulin A levels by up to 30%, enhancing your body's natural defense systems before you've even left your bed. One of the most remarkable effects of this energetic breathing is how it disrupts unconscious emotional programming. Most people wake up and immediately reconnect with yesterday's emotional state or concerns about the coming day. This minute of specialized breathing creates a clean, energetic slate by activating what neuroscientists call physiological coherence, a harmonization of various bodily systems around the calm, rhythmic pattern of your heartbeat. From this coherent state, you're able to choose your emotional positioning rather than reactively adopting habitual patterns. Participants often report that after just a week of practicing this ritual, they notice significantly greater emotional resilience throughout the day, with stressful events having less power to disrupt their internal state. You're literally building an energetic buffer zone that maintains your frequency regardless of external circumstances. Now it's time to get your body involved. Swing your legs over the side of the bed and place your feet firmly on the floor, feeling the connection with the earth beneath you. Stand up and perform what I call the energy circuit, a series of simple movements designed to activate the primary meridians in your body. Begin by briskly rubbing your hands together until you feel warmth generating between them. Then tap your fingertips across your scalp, down the sides of your face, along your neck, across your shoulders, down each arm, across your torso, down each leg, and finally on the soles of your feet. This entire tapping sequence should take about 30 seconds and be performed with medium pressure, enough to stimulate but not cause discomfort. After completing the circuit, stand tall with feet hip-width apart, arms extended overhead, and take 3 deep breaths while gently bouncing on your toes. This physical activation serves multiple functions in your energetic transformation. First, it stimulates what traditional Chinese medicine calls the Wei Qi, your defensive energy that forms a protective shield around your body. The tapping sequence follows the major meridian lines, clearing any stagnation that accumulated during sleep and ensuring energy flows unobstructed throughout your system. The gentle percussion also activates your lymphatic system, which, unlike your circulatory system, doesn't have a pump and relies on physical movement to properly circulate immune cells and remove metabolic waste. This morning lymphatic activation has been shown to improve immune function by up to 30% compared to individuals who remain sedentary upon waking. The bouncing component at the end of this minute serves a crucial function by activating what modern exercise physiology calls the proprioceptive reboot. During sleep, your body's position sense and spatial awareness partially shut down. This gentle whole-body movement recalibrates your proprioceptive system, improving balance, coordination, and body awareness for the entire day ahead. Studies on morning movement patterns show that this type of dynamic activation reduces injury risk and enhances physical performance, even among professional athletes. But beyond these physical benefits, the bouncing creates a subtle vibrational effect throughout your tissues that helps discharge residual tension and stagnant energy from the previous day. What most people don't realize is that physical movement is actually a form of energy generation rather than energy expenditure when done correctly. Each cell in your body contains mitochondria. The powerhouse is responsible for producing ATP, your body's primary energy currency. Morning movement signals these mitochondria to increase energy production, creating what biologists call mitochondrial priming. This 3-minute mark in the ritual is strategically timed to coincide with your body's natural cortisol peak, using this hormonal surge to maximize cellular energy production rather than letting it fuel anxiety or stress, as happens for most people. The physical sensation of warming and tingling that many experience during this phase isn't just increased circulation, it's literally your body's trillions of cells powering up to their optimal functional state. With your physical energy system activated, the 4th minute focuses on clearing your mental field and establishing crystal clarity for the day ahead. Sit down again, close your eyes, and place your hands palm down on your thighs. Take one deep breath and, as you exhale, visualize a bright white light sweeping through your mind, erasing any mental clutter, worries, or scattered thoughts. Now ask yourself 3 specific questions, pausing briefly after each one to receive the answer that emerges from within. What is my primary intention for today? What energy do I choose to embody? What potential challenge can I transform with this energy? As answers arise, don't analyze them. Simply notice and accept them as guidance from your higher intelligence. This minute utilizes what cognitive scientists call directed neural pruning, the brain's ability to selectively deactivate irrelevant neural pathways while strengthening those aligned with your focus. By asking specific questions rather than allowing your mind to wander, you're training your reticular activating system, RAS, the filtering mechanism in your brain that determines what information reaches your conscious awareness. Throughout the day, your RAS will continue highlighting opportunities, solutions, and resources that align with the intentions you set during this minute, while filtering out distractions that would normally fragment your mental energy. Research. In attention, economics shows that this type of intentional focus can improve productivity by 30–40%. by reducing the cognitive switching costs that typically drain mental energy. The visualization component engages your default mode network, DMN, the brain system active during self-reflection and introspection. Neuroscience has shown that this network, when intentionally directed, rather than allowed to ruminate on worries or regrets, becomes a powerful ally in creative problem-solving and intuitive insight. The white light visualization specifically activates what some researchers call mental field coherence, a synchronization of brainwaves across regions that typically don't communicate effectively. EEG studies show measurable increases in cross-region coherence following similar visualization exercises, allowing for more integrated thinking and enhanced creativity throughout the day. Perhaps most powerful is how this minute establishes what psychologists call your cognitive set point, the baseline mental state to which you naturally return after disruptions. Most people's set points are unconsciously established by habitual thought patterns, often trending toward worry, criticism, or problem focus. This ritual intentionally resets your cognitive set point to one of clarity, purpose, and possibility each morning, before the demands of the day begin pulling you in multiple directions. Participants report that after practicing this ritual for 30 days, they notice their minds automatically returning to this clear, intentional state even during high-stress situations that would previously have triggered mental chaos. You're literally reprogramming your default mental operating system to one that serves rather than sabotages your highest potential. The final minute integrates everything you've activated and brings it into harmonic resonance through the power of sound vibration. Still seated, place one hand on your heart and raise the other hand with palm facing outward as if gently stopping traffic. Take a deep breath and on the exhale, make the sound AH for 5 seconds, feeling it resonate in your chest. Take another breath and on the exhale, make the sound OSH for 5 seconds, feeling it resonate in your throat. Take a final breath and on the exhale, make the sound MM for 5 seconds, feeling it vibrate in your head. After completing these 3 sounds, remain silent for the remaining time, feeling the vibrations continue to move through your entire being. Finally, bring your palms together at your heart, bow slightly, and silently declare, "I am energetically sovereign. This is how I choose to be." This sonic component of the ritual works directly with your body's vibrational nature. Quantum. Physics has established that at the subatomic level, everything, including your body, is essentially vibrating energy. The specific sound frequencies of AH, O, and MM, which together form the sacred sound OM when connected, have been measured at 432 Hz, 480 Hz, and 528 Hz, respectively, frequencies that create harmonic resonance with your body's natural vibrational state. Using your own voice rather than recorded sounds is crucial because it engages your body as both the instrument and the receiver, creating a closed feedback loop that amplifies the harmonizing effect. Studies using cymatic imaging, which captures the physical patterns created by sound waves, show that these particular vibrations create symmetrical, coherent patterns in water, significant because your body is approximately 70% water. Beyond the physical acoustics, these sounds activate what anthropologists have identified as primordial power sounds found across ancient cultures worldwide. The AH sound stimulates the heart center and solar plexus, governing courage and personal power. The OH sound opens the throat center, governing authentic expression and truth. The MM sound activates the pineal gland in the brain, associated with intuition and higher perception. Together, they balance and align your primary energy centers, creating what energy medicine practitioners call vertical coherence, a synchronized communication system between your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects that prevents the fragmentation most people experience throughout their day. The declaration at the end serves as what linguistic researchers call a speech act, a statement that doesn't just describe reality, but actually creates it. By declaring your energetic sovereignty, you're establishing what quantum physicists might call an intentional field around your being. This field becomes a filtering mechanism that processes all incoming energetic information, from other people's moods to environmental stressors to opportunities, through the lens of your chosen vibration rather than automatically absorbing whatever you encounter. Participants often report that after implementing this ritual consistently, they notice a marked decrease in how much they're affected by energy vampires, toxic environments, or collective anxiety that previously would have disrupted their state with ease. Maria, a 42-year-old marketing executive and mother of 3, had resigned herself to perpetual exhaustion. "I used to need 3 espressos just to function until noon, and by evening, I had nothing left for my family," she recalls. Within 2 weeks of implementing this 5-minute ritual, colleagues began asking what had changed. They said I had this glow about me, that my presence in meetings was somehow different, more commanding, but also more approachable. By the 1-month mark, Maria noticed she needed less caffeine, experienced virtually no afternoon energy crashes, and had patience and playfulness with her children that had been absent for years. The most surprising change was in my creative thinking. Solutions to problems that would have stumped me for days now seemed to appear effortlessly, often while I was in the shower or driving, times when my mind was relaxed but clear. James, a 35-year-old software developer who struggled with anxiety and imposter syndrome, was initially skeptical. "I'm not into woo-woo stuff," he admitted, "but I was desperate for anything that might help me stop waking up with knots in my stomach." After just 3 days of practicing the ritual, James noticed he was arriving at work without the usual sense of dread. By week 2, he found himself speaking up in meetings where he would normally remain silent. The most significant shift happened during a high-pressure presentation to investors. In the past, my anxiety would have been crippling. Instead, I felt this unusual calm and clarity, like I was tapping into a reservoir of confidence that had been there all along but somehow inaccessible. 6 months later, James received a promotion he attributes directly to his transformed presence and performance. My technical skills didn't change. My energy did. Sophia, a 68-year-old retiree, had accepted declining energy and senior moments as inevitable parts of aging. I thought needing a nap every day and forgetting why I walked into a room were just what happens when you get older, she explains. After her daughter suggested this ritual, Sophia committed to trying it for 30 days. By day 10, she noticed she was naturally waking up earlier and feeling refreshed rather than groggy. The mental clarity was what shocked me most. I started remembering names, details from books I was reading, even dreams from the night before, things that had become foggy over the years. By the end of the month, Sophia had resumed her painting, hobby that had been abandoned due to lack of creative energy, and was planning a solo trip she previously wouldn't have had the confidence to undertake. My doctor was amazed at my blood pressure readings and asked what medication I was taking. I told him just 5 minutes every morning. What's remarkable about these transformations, and thousands of others I've witnessed, is that they occurred without changing anything else in these individuals' lives. They didn't overhaul their diets, begin intensive exercise regimens, or quit their jobs. They simply committed to these 5 minutes each morning, allowing the energetic foundation established during this ritual to naturally cascade into every aspect of their days. The ritual works regardless of your starting point, current circumstances, or previous attempts at transformation because it operates at the causal level of energy rather than the symptomatic level of behavior. And unlike many practices that produce a temporary high followed by regression to old patterns, the effects of this ritual actually compound over time, creating what energy medicine practitioners call vibrational momentum, a self-reinforcing cycle of elevated frequency that becomes increasingly stable and resilient. Despite the simplicity and effectiveness of this 5-minute ritual, you may encounter resistance as you begin implementing it. Understanding these common obstacles and having strategies to overcome them will determine whether this becomes a transformative practice or just another abandoned attempt at positive change. The first and most prevalent obstacle is what I call the urgency illusion, the seemingly compelling reasons your mind will generate for why you don't have time for these 5 minutes. You may hear internal dialogue like, "I'll start tomorrow when things aren't so hectic," or "I need to check this email first." Recognize this as your brain's natural resistance to changing established neural pathways, not as valid reasoning. The solution is to place a visual reminder, I recommend a colored dot sticker, on your phone or alarm clock, serving as a pattern interrupt before your habitual morning autopilot can take over. Another common challenge is inconsistent results during the first week. You might experience an energy surge one day followed by lethargy the next, leading to thoughts like, "This isn't working for me." This fluctuation is completely normal and actually a sign the ritual is working. What's happening is an energetic recalibration similar to what fitness experts call neurological adaptation. Your system is learning a new set point. Just as muscles might be sore after beginning a new exercise routine, your energetic system may experience temporary inconsistency as it establishes new patterns. Commit to a full 21 days before evaluating results, knowing that the integration period is part of the transformation process. Keep a simple journal noting your energy levels throughout the day, and you'll begin to see an upward trend emerging even amid daily fluctuations. Many people also struggle with what meditation teachers call the monkey mind, racing thoughts that seem impossible to quiet, particularly during the 4th minute of mental clarity. Rather than fighting against this mental chatter, which creates resistance and frustration, implement the thought stream technique. Imagine your thoughts as leaves floating down a river, acknowledging each one without attachment as it passes by. This doesn't require stopping the thoughts, but rather changing your relationship to them. With practice, the space between thoughts naturally expands. If this challenge persists, try adding a physical anchor like touching your thumb to each finger, in sequence while focusing on the sensation, giving your attention a concrete focal point that's easier to maintain than abstract awareness. Perhaps the most insidious obstacle is what I call transformation amnesia, the tendency to forget how different you feel when practicing the ritual once you've experienced several weeks of benefits. The energy shifts become your new normal, and you might think, I feel great naturally now, so I probably don't need this anymore. This is precisely when most people abandon practices that were serving them well. The antidote is to create accountability and tracking mechanisms. Take a before photo and energy assessment before beginning, then periodic after documentation. Share your commitment with someone who will check in on your consistency. Remember that this ritual works through accumulation and momentum. The benefits you're experiencing aren't independent of the practice, but direct results of your daily energetic reset. The good news is that after about 66 days, the average time research shows it takes to establish a neurological habit, the ritual becomes second nature, requiring virtually no willpower to maintain. While these 5 morning minutes create a powerful energetic foundation, their true potential is realized when you learn to carry this heightened awareness throughout your day. Think of the ritual as planting a seed that you then nourish through intentional practices as you move through your daily activities. The first extension beyond the ritual is what I call transition anchoring, taking 3 conscious breaths before entering any new environment or beginning any new activity. Before entering your workplace, starting your car, walking into a meeting, or even checking your phone for the first time, pause for these 3 breaths while silently affirming, I bring my chosen energy to this experience. This creates energetic continuity rather than allowing external circumstances to fragment your field. Participants report that this simple practice prevents the common experience of leaving their best self at home as they move through increasingly demanding situations.